Hi, this is Gary with MACMOST.com. Let's talk about the different ways that you can use links in your numbers documents. MACMOST is brought to you thanks to a great group of more than 2,000 supporters. Go to MACMOST.com/Patreon. There you could read more about it, join us, and get exclusive content and course discounts. Now, there are a variety of different kinds of links that you can include in any numbers spreadsheet. Most people are probably thinking of links to web pages, but let's start with talking about links inside of the numbers document from sheet to sheet. So in a numbers document, you can have a number of different sheets. Here in this example, I've got a summary sheet, inventory, sales, and on order. So the summary here has some calculations based on the other sheet. So here's the total inventory, and that is the sum of everything in this table in this sheet. So it would be nice to actually have a link to jump to the sheet right here. We can easily create that by just putting some text there and making it a link. So let's type link to inventory as just some text. And I'm going to select the text. The links are a way to format text. So you want to select the text itself, not just the cell. So this link will just be for the entire piece of text, but I could just assign the link to one word if I wanted to. Then I'm going to go to Format and then Add a Link. And you can see here I've got the ability to add a web page link, email, phone number, or sheet link. I'm going to use Sheet right here. And then it's going to prompt me with the text to display, and I'll leave it at what the text was originally. This is the type of link, and then this is the sheet to link to. So it lists the 4 sheets that are here. So I'm going to link to the inventory sheet. And now I've got a link. If I click on it, you can see it jumps right to that sheet. So I could assign a link like this to the other 2 rows here. I could even put the link here assigned to this text instead of adding a new column if I wanted. When designing a document with links like this, it's useful to make sure you've got plenty of sheets and you only use each sheet for one purpose. Usually just one table, or maybe one table and a lookup table, something like that. That way you can create a link to that sheet and jump right to the information you want. Another type of link that you can use is an email link. So this will just take you to the Mail app and start a new email using that link. So for instance, here I've got a table that just has some names and email addresses. It'll be nice to be able to click on this email address and jump right to a mail composition window. So I could do that by selecting the email right there and using the same Add Link menu here, and I could select Email. So I'm going to select that, and since I've selected an email address, it recognizes that and immediately creates the email link. So now when I click on that, it goes to the Mail app, and you can see it starts a new email message to that person. And you can do the same thing with a phone number. So I can select the phone number here, and I can go to Format, Add Link, and then Phone Number, and it'll create a link there. And then if I click on it, since I'm on a Mac, it's going to launch FaceTime and try to make an audio call to that number. Now let's finally get to web page links. So just like with email addresses and phone numbers, you could have a URL like this. You can select it, and then you can go to Format, Add Link, and then Web Page. And when I do that, it will convert this to a web page link. Now when I click on it, it will launch the web browser and take me to that web page. But let's say instead you wanted to use some other text. So you could just have some text like this. And if you select that and then use either the menu item or the keyboard shortcut Command K, it's going to ask you for the display text, and I'll leave it like that. You see it's set to link to a web page, and I could paste the link in there. And now I'll click elsewhere to dismiss that, and you can see I've got that link right there, and it works the same way. But that's not the only link functionality in Numbers, because you can use functions to do this as well. So the key function to use is simply hyperlink. So I'm going to start a formula by pressing the equals key here. And then on the right, I'm going to search for hyperlink and look at the help information about it. And you can see it takes a URL and some link text as the 2 parameters. So let's go ahead and use this. And as the URL here, I'll put in quotes that URL to that Wikipedia page. And then as a link text, in quotes, I'll put the text I want to appear. And this simple formula here with one function in it will give me the same results as actually manually putting in a link. But you can see here it's using this hyperlink function. And if I click on this, it works the same way. But let's go and do something more creative. Since we're using a function, these can be variable values. So let's go ahead and instead of having this text here, we're going to just simply use the text from the first column there. So you can see how it picks that up right there. And instead of using this link here, I'm going to remove this last part. I'm going to use an ampersand to concatenate some more text, and then I'm going to use the value from here. So it should end up being the same thing, this wikipedia.org/wiki/ and then the word apple, and then using apple as a link. We can even go ahead and put an ampersand, quote, space, link like that. And now we've got text like that. And if I click it, it goes to the same web page. But if I were to copy that and paste it down here, it's going to grab this word instead for both the link part and the text part. So if I click here, you could see how it goes to this page. So now I could actually copy and double click on the column heading right there and paste in, and you could see how I get all these different links, and new links would be added every time I create a new row. I don't have to manually create all these links. Very useful if you're linking to some sort of online inventory system where the item ID or name is always going to match the name here in the first column. You could do some clever things with this. Like for instance, instead of this text here to go to a specific page, I can paste in a typical Google search URL. So google.com/search ? Q equals, and then whatever this is here. So now when I click on this, it actually takes me to a Google search for that word. Another thing you do is use a lookup table for this. So here in sheet 3, I've got a lookup table with specific URLs for specific items. So this is very useful if there's no real pattern like there is here for Wikipedia pages. So you want to manually have the URLs here in this table full of links. Then here, I can use a basic lookup to get the URL. So I'm going to use a VLOOKUP for this, and then I'm going to look up this value here, and I'm going to look it up in this table right here. So I'm going to select the whole table like this, and then the value it's going to get is from the second column if the first column is matched. And then I'm going to use false to make sure that the match has to be exact. So that's what my VLOOKUP looks like. So now you can see here it grabs that one. If I copy and paste it down here, you can see it grabs the next row, and then this one here will give me an error because nothing matches this word right here. Now we can turn these into links by enclosing this then in hyperlink. So I'm going to type hyperlink, and then I'm going to use this as the link, and then for the text, I'm going to just have link like that. So now it just has the word link, and it would do it for all of those, and it would take me to the proper link from this sheet. But this one here would still give me an error because nothing matches that. We can fix that by putting if error around this entire thing, and then the comma here, and then just 2 quotes for leave it blank if there's an error. So now you can see that's blank right there. So I can copy and paste into all of those there. And if I were to add a new one, like for instance, go here and add mango, and then let me go and create some text for a link here, like that. Notice I go back to this sheet, and it does find a link there for mango, and it does work to take me to that page. A few more tips. One is that you can use hyperlink for phone numbers and for email addresses as well. So for instance, I can do hyperlink, and the URL here would have to be mail2: very specifically that, and then use an ampersand to append this, and then put the link text, and let's just put the word email like that. And now this link will work pulling this here, and it'll go to the mail app. The same thing for a telephone number, except you need to use the word tel, T-E-L, with a colon after it, and then the specific phone number like that. Then we'll put call, and then that will work. You can even do it with some other things if there's an app that supports it. So for instance, the dictionary app supports dictionary lookup this way. So I can do hyperlink, and for dictionary I need to do DICT : and then 2 slashes have to be here, and then an ampersand, and then the value here. And then I can put dictionary, like that. And now this will bring up the dictionary app right to that word. And one more tip I want to show you. If you actually have a lookup table that has links in it, so this is just text right now, but if I do Command K, it will convert it to a link. I'll do it for each one of these, selecting the text first and then doing Command K to change it to a link. Then I could do the lookup and it will actually be a link. So I can go back in here and just do the lookup. I don't need to convert it to a hyperlink. And you can see it brings it in and it's actually a link because it's a link here. If this wasn't a link, I'll remove the link like that. Then you can see the result there isn't a link. So the value of the cell can be a link versus text. So there are a bunch of different ways that you can use links in numbers to enhance your spreadsheets. You can build on these basic ideas to do even more. I hope you find it useful. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, click the thumbs up button below to let me know. I publish new tutorials each weekday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss out.